All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the November 24th, Wednesday edition of the AM show, hosted live here on Alphamint. As always, I am your host, R2DGen, and I am joined with me by Mr. Free Market Capitalist.
Hey now.
It was a fun day yesterday. I don't know if I want to say it was a fun day. It was a frustrating day yesterday. There was lots of stuff going on, but our beloved OpenSea was not making life overly easy. You know, we were doing the show and I couldn't refresh anything, and that was frustrating. But the problems carried on well into the evening, so we will touch on that in a little bit. But other than that, how was your day yesterday?
Oh, my day was pretty great. It certainly seemed like quite the bull market in NFTs that was stopped short by technical issues at OpenSea.
Yeah, lots to talk to talk about there and unpack and kind of what happened with it. But first, I just want to give a shout out to the 20 new Moon Lounge members we added to the club yesterday. Great to have all of those new faces in there and participating. Everybody's been good, contributing, and it's been a lot of fun seeing the Moon Lounge, the DGen Dojo active. Like, and when I say active, I mean active to the point where it's almost impossible to recap what has happened if you're not looking at it. So we're we're working hard to try and get some organizational features that will provide more of a live recap as it goes on, so you don't miss anything important. But yeah, just some of like even just the camaraderie that's growing there has been a lot of fun. There's a lot of inside jokes, a lot of internal memes, such as like we actually had one member just before the snails drop call a 1.2 ETH floor. That's turned into something that's been we've had a lot of fun with.
Yeah, a little bit, a little bit.
um,
1.2, my forever target for all projects.
Oh, right, it was you. Yeah, you know what though? On that note, with popularity comes the bots, and we did have some issues last night. Um, Kind of in the wee hours, we had some people being DM'd by like a Collab bot. I don't know if there was some impersonation going on of people sliding into the DMs. So I just want to make sure that everybody that's listening knows whether you're in the Moon Lounge or not. First of all, Collabland does not message you unless you ping it on any server, right? You have to use the join feature. Collabland's never gonna come out and be like, "Hey, sign up for this" or anything like that. So, the biggest thing that I recommend is always check the message history with Collabland that's messaging you. If you've used it in the past to sign up for things and there's previous engagement with Collabland, you're dealing with the real one, and it does have a verified bot tag next to it as well. But yeah, be vigilant out there. This is not something that's exclusive to Alphamint. My recommendation is to just turn off DMs on all of the servers. If you right click on a specific server, on the kind of the left area where you see them all, you can click privacy settings and you can turn on DMs just from that server. So if you're ever hopping on and you want to do something with Collabland to join, you can turn the DMs just for that server on very briefly. Use the function, get Collabland to message you, and again, make sure that it's the legit one. Do your thing and then turn DMs off. In regards to Alphamint team members or mods, we will never just outright ask you to click a link or go do something, right? That has to be initiated by you. If you ever get a DM from one of us, feel free to just jump into like the general chat or the Dojo, ping our actual name, and shoot us a message, even just in like the public setting, and we can confirm whether or not it was us. I hope that this isn't a huge problem going forward. We did add captcha into the join function, but yeah, be vigilant out there.
This seemed to happen right after the orcs tweeted about us or retweeted our
Oh
tweet
yeah, true.
because we are doing our first AM spaces on Twitter this evening with the orc devs. And that popularity seems to come with some consequences. be vigilant, and remember, nobody ever made money in their DMs. No one wants to give you anything in your DMs. It's better to just ignore them all. And on Discord, you can friend request people, so close your DMs off to everybody except people you specifically friend request, and double check in the DGen dojo or general if something seems suspicious.
Yeah. It's Illidan also pointed out in the chat that like if you're on the Alphamint Discord page and you can see all of the people that are active on the right hand side, and you want to click on my name and right click, you can click a message, right? And it should bring you to the message page. Or our previous conversations if we've had one, and you'll be able to see if that message was actually from me or not too. But yeah, there's lots of fakes going on out there, and this is we're still in the Wild West phase of all of this. So yeah, whenever there's money involved, be extra careful.
Slow down. We're never gonna make you race for anything.
No, might make the snails race, but that's a different topic altogether. On that note, but I just wanted to thank everybody that's joined, and anybody that's thinking about joining, feel free to ask any questions you have or any reassurances you need about our community, and we'd be more than happy to provide them. But it's been a lot of fun so far. So we will slide over to the cryptocurrency market right now, do a quick overview of what's going on, and that really is not a whole lot. Bitcoin has been chilling between $56,000 and $57,000. Ethereum has kind of been bouncing back between about $4,000 and $4,300 over the past couple days. It's gone on some big runs up, and then they kind of come back down. NFTs seem to be the biggest recipient of this inaction in the crypto market, so we will not talk too much about actual cryptocurrencies, and we'll move on to there. One quick note about Ethereum is that this morning, since the London fork happened back in August, Ethereum has burnt its 1 million ETH coin. That's about $4 billion in transaction fees. I gotta believe a lot of them have been coming from OpenSea and the NFT action that's going on, and it's interesting to see some of the confusion as to what burning tokens means to I hate using the word normie, but the normie community definitely spurs some issues with the environmentally friendly aspect of it, as though like we're literally setting things on fire. And also it's funny to watch like the Twitter talk about high Ethereum gas prices kind of spill over into like the high actual like gasoline prices at the pumps, and sometimes there's some pretty hilarious confusion being correlated to that, and all of a sudden people think Ethereum is the cause of the petrol prices going up.
EIP 1559 is the reason Ethereum is burning stuff now. It's become deflationary, and this is ultrasound money at this point. There is, for this reason specifically, there's a supply crisis brewing in Ethereum, and it's all very bullish.
Yeah, and obviously the fork is, as Ethereum shifts to proof of stake. Whether or not that ever actually happens is a different question, but it seems to be kind of on track for that. And we can debate whether proof of stake or proof of work is better till the cows come home. But
quite frankly, this is the largest, most equitable airdrop in all of crypto. This is a direct value proposition to anybody who owns Ethereum, and people want to talk about airdrops. That's what this is. And if you think about the amount of value accruing daily to people willing to hold this token, it's only going to compound and get more aggressive.
Right, for sure. And for a little bit of context, anybody wondering about proof of stake was supposed to be months away when I joined crypto and got into Ethereum back in 2017. So it's not something that's necessarily going to happen anytime soon. Like, I've been hearing that we're 6 months away from proof of stake for the better part of 5 years now. So definitely something to watch in terms of what it means for Ethereum. But hopefully it can kind of continue to make the Ethereum network decentralized, secure, and bring some of those gas prices kind of down. I know we talk about gas being good, But yeah, there's something about the price of Ethereum going up and these gas prices going up with it that starts to sting a little bit when you consider every time you do anything, it's costing you $150. So yeah, we'll see what happens from there.
Don't listen to these 2017 weirdos. ETH2 is coming in 2 months.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. Moving on. Um, a subject that we will probably no longer have to speak about after today, but ConstitutionDAO is going to be shutting down and refunding their contributors. They were kind of looking for a direction to go in after they lost the bid to Kenneth Griffin of Citadel fame. And I think at the end of the day, they've just decided to refund all of the contributors. A little statement that they released was, we have determined that building and maintaining an ongoing project is not something that we as a core team are able to support, given the technical and administrative requirements of doing it properly, a DAO representative said via Discord. Shocking that $45 million cannot enable you to put proper administrative and technical people in place. But honestly, I think that this is the right move. They went after the Constitution. They did not get it, and time to just move on from there.
Yeah, Party DAO is much more interesting.
Party DAO.
Yeah, you got to check them out.
Actually, in the wake of ConstitutionDAO, it has spurned a lot of new DAOs coming up to bid on random shit out there. Someone mentioned one yesterday that I didn't discuss, but yeah, it's definitely inspired some people to raise some funds and go after some real world assets. So yeah, I'm actually kind of just happy that the chapter is closing on the ConstitutionDAO. So we'll move on from there and switch over to WGMI. Good day for the Ether Orcs. I don't know if the announcement of shouting Alphamint out was the catalyst of that, or if it was just Sneaky Ninja Pants dumping the rest of his bags and subsequently the Zug.
Finally, yeah. Somebody, as Orcs were rallying yesterday, Sneaky finally dumped his last ones, which got us above that 0.85 wall. Orcs are sitting around 1.1, 1.2 right now, and Zug, which rallied really hard to $2 twice yesterday, has been dumped on pretty hard, which we assume is Sneaky getting rid of his Zug. And all the boys over at MVHQ, shout out to them for dumping all their orcs into the hands of actual holders.
Yeah, no, I mean Sneaky was kind of the first hurdle. He had a large pool of them and has decided to exit Ether Orcs. But you know what? Good for people that were looking to get in, because he kind of held that floor relatively cheap, and once he got out, it did shoot up. So if you were able to snag one,
thank you for your service.
Yeah, hey, it's never hurts, as we've seen with Wolf Game, to have some pretty big whales participating in your ecosystem, and Ether Orcs has, I don't want to say benefited greatly from Sneaky specifically, but it certainly couldn't help or hurt.
Oh, he contributed a lot of ETH to the ecosystem. So thank you.
Yeah, for sure. And we did mention that Ether Orcs made an announcement with us. Did you touch on the fact that we're doing a Twitter Spaces with them this evening?
We are doing a Twitter Spaces with the Orc devs. I am so pumped for this. They just released their roadmap 2.0. We're going to have a lot to talk about, and that's 8 p.m. Eastern, if I'm not mistaken, tonight.
Yeah, 8 p.m. Eastern, live on Twitter. We're going to keep it off the Discord and just do it on Twitter as, we try and get some reach and utilize some other spaces out there that we have access to. So that's going to be exciting, and I'm really looking forward to it.
We got some good scoops last time, so I would expect more of the same.
Yeah. And we haven't really publicly promoted this too much. It's been difficult communicating, with the Bad Bunnies team, as they are based in Sydney, but we are working on getting Bad Bunnies on the show this evening at 6 p.m. Eastern. We'll get them into the Discord and do that. So just keep a lookout for some confirmation. But, when you're dealing with somebody on the other side of the world, it becomes kind of a slow 12-hour communication cycle at times.
And this project's doing some interesting things. They're both gamifying their assets in the same way that all these other on-chain games are formatting, and there are rumors that they're one of the people that Coinbase is one of the projects Coinbase is looking at. So there will be a lot of interesting things to hash out with them if we can nail that down tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And I apologize for the short and unconfirmed notice about that. And if it doesn't happen, I'm going to be working with him to schedule a more far out time to do it. So, but yeah, keep an eye out. And if you're around, definitely come in and check it out. There's some big Bad Bunnies fans in Alphamint. Going back to WGMI, the other project that had a pretty good pump yesterday, Gary Vee was doing some stuff with Robotos. That is a project that's kind of been around for a little while now. I guess in NFT time, it feels like years, but that minted about 4 months ago. Robotos kind of had its ups and downs, and it was just chilling for a while down in the, I think, 0.1 range. I'm just checking the activity out now, but no, sorry, about the 0.3 range. It looked like it bottomed out at, but yep, has shot up, sitting at 0.71, and I believe we do have some holders in the Moon Lounge as that as well. It always is a topic of discussion, either good or bad, but yeah, they are on the up and up.
Awesome. Yeah, this is another project that the art really, it has the look. They've always rumored and hinted at bigger things coming, and now it looks like a partnership with Time is in the works, and a TV show. And I think this is a really compelling use case. I think we touched on it a bit. That the licensing for these properties to be used by entertainment. I mean, Punk's just signed a pretty large deal with, I forget which company, but with a talent agency in California, which certainly pissed off the punk population, as now it is Larva Labs that will be making the money on the image you own, not you. Whereas Bored Apes, each owner owns the license to their ape. So I think that this is a really interesting area of NFTs to watch, whether your project has that type of art that speaks to a TV show. And then it comes down to, I think, character development and writing. But Lorabato's super interesting project with great art, similar to Deadfellas, I would say. Another one that I think has big potential.
Yeah, the one thing that I really like about Robotos is, like, we always talk about colors popping, nice clean lines. They work well as profile pictures. You always know when a Robotos is somebody's profile picture. Also, just like that they all have like just really simple basic animation, but just kind of makes them come alive a little bit too. So definitely a project to keep to keep an eye on in the future as they continue to kind of just be on the uptrend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh, So yeah, switching gears, we mentioned at the top of the show that OpenSea was a disaster yesterday, and boy was it ever. A lot of frustration going on in the Twitter space about them from some pretty big names. I saw Tropo tweeted out that their API has been down all day. Floor listings still fucked. There has been zero official communication about this. None on Twitter, none on Discord. This company is worth billions of dollars, by the way. I've been saying it as a joke over the past few days that $10 billion valuations don't get you what they used to, and OpenSea is kind of proving me right at this point. They were down all day and then came back up online, and like the first thing you see is like OpenSea and Christie's bidding opens December 4th. Like, again, no acknowledgement of the fact that things are fucked. For people that are very, very active in the space, it was pretty clear that something was going on. But here's where it kind of got a little bit messy. Because their listings weren't working properly, and the floor wasn't updating properly, there was a real false sense of what projects were actually worth at that point. Like, you really kind of had to dig a little bit deeper with the activity and the live listings page to get a sense at what the sales were and what the listings were. But yeah, if you were on a project that was seeing some volume, there was probably like maybe upwards of 8 or 9 lines of listings that were all sold, some of them being relisted. And you kind of had to go deeper and deeper and deeper. That was driving just the purchase price up, but people weren't understanding that this was happening, and they were still listing below OpenSea's listed floor price. Once OpenSea fixed the problem, all of those listings came online, got pushed to the top, and the floors just kind of dumped on projects. So it was a little bit frustrating for anybody actively trying to trade yesterday, and it's a little bit frustrating that OpenSea doesn't um, announce that they're having these issues kind of in real time.
I don't know what their head of product is doing, but it's like he's not even at the company.
Did they rehire yet? Because that person's next on the
Apparently
chopping
not.
block.
Right. And also communications. I mean, we've talked about this a lot. Most other companies, if there's an outage, especially as critical as this, I mean, they killed a bull run in quite a few projects that were trading above mint. Looked like they had some great momentum and were just killed by technical aspects. Nothing to do with the project itself. Pretty frustrating. I had quite a few things listed at floor yesterday that never sold, and then when I came in this morning, everything's 50% off. So now I could either wait for the floor to get back up there or chase everything down like I assume everyone else is going to this morning, and that's pretty frustrating. It's really not a good look for OpenSea to not at least communicate that this was going on, explain to people that the floor prices were not accurate. I mean, it's a shit show, and it really we're feeling the brunt of it today as
Just
floors are just whacked.
like pull the floor price off then. Like certainly they could have just done a real-time update to get that down, at least for the time being. But yeah, I mean, there will be a lot of people that will shake their fist at OpenSea and say, how dare you? And there's some validity to that, but like, let's be honest, large platforms aren't without their technical difficulties. It does happen. It's frustrating. But I think, like you said, the biggest point of frustration really is just that they had no wherewithal to bother telling anybody. Like, I would think that you would try and get that out as fast as possible and let your consumers know this so that they don't get burned in weird and inopportune ways.
They regularly do like tongue-in-cheek communication, as we saw with the upside down smiley face
Yeah.
the other week.
Yeah.
They really don't seem to take it seriously, and after a day like yesterday and today where people lose a lot of money because of it, it goes from cute to not funny at all.
Yeah, I mean, they have a very wide moat on their NFT marketplace dominance, and it would be nice to treat your customers with a little bit more respect than that. Sometimes it feels like a bit of a slap in the face when they know you can't do anything about it. Like, you have no other real platforms to switch to, and they just couldn't give two fucks about it. So, I mean, I don't want to sit here and just bash on OpenSea all the time, but it was a tough look yesterday.
Yeah, and it's something that I really hope that they at least address. I mean, the communication would help a little bit. So.
Yeah, for sure. So it does look like things are kind of back to normal, but it'll be interesting to see how floors kind of rebound, because there did seem to be a big influx of undercutting that people didn't even know they were doing, and kind of sucks for them too, because they probably could have listed a lot higher and still sold if this had been a normal day, but they unknowingly undercut the entire market, and people that were very liquid and able to do these snipes were probably loving the action, unfortunately.
And it's the third time this has happened in the last 2 months. I remember the other
Yeah,
two
yeah.
days that this happened, and it was the exact same result. It's transient. I don't think it's going to, truly torpedo anything. But, projects really manage that initial hype. Like, a good project has to manage that initial hype cycle properly. If you have too wild a price swing, it really can kill momentum. Having a floor that stabilizes is very important if you want your project to have longevity. As we know, once these things get too low, it's very hard for them to ever climb back.
Yeah, let's talk about, like, well, we don't have to talk about it, but you mentioned, it's got to be frustrating for the projects too, especially ones that just launched, right? Like Soda was going through a pretty big run that might have done some damage to. I participated in a couple of drops the day before, and definitely felt the brunt of those mistakes as well.
Yeah.
You know, and we live to fight another day. It's, you know, it's not the death of NFTs or anything like that, but you know, with OpenSea being our only choice, it would be nice for them to be a little bit more courteous to the user base. So,
Especially since we're not getting our token now. They could give us something.
and they're taking 2.5% of every fucking transaction. Like that's a, you know, that's not a small amount of money they're raking in. Go and hire a product manager for, or a communications manager for
Yeah,
120
and they're
grand a
not
year.
taking it from traders, they're taking it from artists because it's artists who have to reduce their
Mm,
royalty to make it palatable for people to buy and trade their NFTs.
fair point. Fair point. Okay, so this is a big weekend in the U.S. of A. It's Thanksgiving weekend, and it'll be interesting to see what kind of trends come of that for the NFT world. Obviously, most Americans will have kind of what the next 4 days off. I'm Canadian. We already got Thanksgiving out of the way last month. But yeah, what is your take on this? Does it mean anything? Does it give people more time to participate,
Yeah,
or
I don't
are
even.
they doing family shit?
I think NFTs are so global that it really doesn't matter. You're going to see a lot of high profile drops coming up. And this is one industry that may benefit from vacation and home time and pandemics, as an example. So it could prove to even be the opposite, that people are home with family. There's nothing to do. You know, you ate, let's log on to that computer and buy some JPEGs.
Yeah, you're going to be watching football and scrolling OpenSea, provided they're up and running. So,
Especially now that the NFL is involved in the NFT game in multiple ways.
free market, what an amazing segue that was. It's almost like we planned it. No, on that note, some of you might have seen the link, but anybody involved in Top Shots in the past with Dapper Labs probably got on the wait list for the NFL version of the Top Shots. Last week, we had some wild action with the NFL kind of commemorative tickets that Ticketmaster dropped as on, I think it was Polygon. But some seriously huge wins coming from from the Moon Lounge members
I'm
there.
not sure we're actually wins, as 99% of the transactions are pending, and I'm waiting for someone to report they
Ooh,
actually got their money
is that's
before we.
still ongoing? I actually missed that.
I haven't followed the saga closely enough, but during the AMA, maybe somebody involved can come up and update us, because I've seen a lot of people unhappy.
Well, the transactions were peer to peer, right? Like somebody on the other end of them was buying. It wasn't like they were just trading like checks and balances. And now Ticketmaster of all people, like, yeah, we don't actually have this money. It's
No, I don't think it was even a money thing. I think Ticketmaster was selling two
oh
and three times. Like, access their
oh
system. Yeah, their system was selling tickets that were already sold.
amazing, not amazing, but like amazing in
No,
like
no,
a
yeah,
get your head out of your ass Ticketmaster kind of way.
come on.
No, but the action was wild. We saw a bunch of people essentially turn $10 into $10,000 or more in the span of a couple of hours, really, which may have actually, when you look back on it for the time frame, be the trade of the year. But yeah, that was a lot of fun in the Discord that night when people were getting in on that action. But yeah, so there's a wait list going on for the NFL moments. I signed up for it this morning. I've never actually done anything with Top Shot, but based on the success and the kind of rabid collective nature of the NFL fans, and you know this being, I think, a relatively frictionless way to get them into NFTs, I think it could be. I think it could be a good thing to partake in.
Guys, there are few guarantees in this world, but I guarantee if you are lucky enough to be chosen to buy these first NFL Dapper Lab packs, you're going to make a lot of money. Look at NBA Top Shot has diluted themselves a bit as they're aiming for the masses, which are, will unfold over the next few years. But it caused a very large bubble in February to pop that's never really recovered. You hear about the LeBron James card that's worth $250,000, and they exist, but those were from the very early packs that were very limited in numbers. And you can expect the early NFL ones to do the exact same thing. I mean, the NFL is as large, if not a larger property in the United States than basketball, maybe less of a global appeal, but currently Top Shot is pretty limited to the United States and Europe anyway. So if you haven't signed up, go sign up for that wait list. If you were a Top Shot customer, you got an early wait list email that you probably filled out. I actually filled out the second one too, just in case, because the first one they sent us was about a month ago. But you know, this is one of those things that if you are lucky enough, it's like a whitelist, right? It's a very hype anticipated drop. If you can get on it, it's going to be an instant ROI.
Yeah, for sure. I need to like pre-record a soundbite that says like the contents of this podcast did not constitute financial advice and blah blah blah.
Nothing I ever say is financial advice.
No, it's just like you're like I guarantee you're like going like Jim Cramer on the NFL Top Shot moments. So, but no, yeah, hey, look, I'm not a big football fan. I know, gasp. But there is something undeniable about the passion of football fans, particularly surrounding their teams. I mean, go to a Raiders game. And it is just absolutely wild. The Giants have a huge fan base. The Jets, like, there's so many teams that basically every team has like a rabid fan base, really.
Yeah, this is just look at the NBA Top Shot moments, and I expect these to have a similar trajectory in a more popular sport in the United States.
Yeah. I'm glad you added in the United States because it's definitely not a global sport.
It probably will have less global appeal than basketball, but again, Dapper Labs and Flow is limited to the I know that when I was trading Top Shot a lot, the big talk was when is China going to come online, because China couldn't currently, without a VPN, purchase Top Shots. So the big thing was, we know how big China is into basketball. When were they going to come on? You're not going to have that with the NFL, right? It's just not as popular in the rest of the world. So
yeah, I want to just shout out Chris in the AM show chat, throwing out there, the Lions have a loyal fan base and we suck. Yes, they do. But
watching that game tomorrow.
On another note, he does point out fantasy football is also much larger than fantasy basketball, right. And that is undeniably true. So a lot of those, I think it's going to be a massive play. So at least if you're not willing to participate in it, keep your eye on it and check back in with us.
It's a lottery, right? I mean, it's going to be a very large wait list of probably 300,000 people. So it's not something that, you could will your way onto. But if you're lucky enough to get it, that'll be a nice bag.
Yeah, I'm glad that they didn't put my spot in the wait list because it gives me a lot more hope. Sometimes just like ignorance is bliss. Like I don't actually want to know that I have no shot on it. Like I signed up for it. And I'm like, yes, this is my time.
So yeah, we'll see. Good luck. I hope AM locks down a few of those.
Oh, I have no doubt we will. Okay, moving on from NFL and Thanksgiving, and actually just quickly on that note, happy Thanksgiving to anybody celebrating this weekend. Hopefully you're able to join us for the other two shows, but if you're not, I hope you have some great family time and you shill some NFTs and Alphamint to your normie family.
That needs to be the topic of discussion at Thanksgiving dinner this year.
Yeah, the JPEGs.
Yes.
So, okay. Yesterday we had a bunch of Alphamint Moon Lounge members jump into SOTA, which is the Society of the Derivative Apes. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, and we mentioned it kind of during the OpenSea dropping the ball. But yeah, they have a good project. The art style is good, and the success is showing in it. Last time I checked, the floor was just over 0.2. It seems to be holding there. Oh, actually up to almost 0.24 now. And I looked at it this morning, and the volume is absolutely wild on it. 1.4 thousand Ethereum in volume traded in the last 24 hours. And that is... we were looking at like the Goons the other day, which had a good run in volume. That slowed down since, but this has eclipsed even that just in the first day. So be interesting to see where this this actually ends up. And the one thing that I noticed is there were some Alphamint members throwing them in as their profile pictures, and like I said, they passed the profile picture test. Chris actually has one that we just mentioned. It looks good. Henry was rocking one with the laser eyes. That one looked great too.
Yeah, this is Doodles inspired art, which plays really well. Combine it with Bored Ape Yacht Club, and you got yourself a winner. AM was hard into that project.
Yeah, I did unfortunately miss the mint by a couple minutes, but that's okay. There will always be lots more wins to come, so I'm not gonna cry myself to sleep over that. But I do wish that I had grabbed one because they look great. Did you manage to get anything?
I did not. I think they were minting during the show. I didn't mint that one. No, but they look pretty cool.
Yeah, you know what? It was when we were prepping for the show. So these are the sacrifices that we make to bring you guys this little live podcast every single morning. So a shout out to you guys for being here. Another project that happened yesterday was the Kumo world residence that we mentioned. That one actually doing all right too. Different, unique art style, really in the cutesy realm, but is definitely holding above mint at a zero point 0.1 floor. Had 400 ETH in volume traded, so not too bad. Definitely not in the soda realm, but I did just want to check back in with that. And I know that you didn't grab any of these. I also did not, but yeah, a project that's not doing too bad itself. So good to see, and it's just encouraging for NFTs, right? To see these kind of mid-tier projects maintaining above floor.
Oh yeah, no question.
Yeah, feudals. You wanna lead off with feudals?
Well, this is another on-chain P2E, well, player to environment game. I believe they're also going to do P2P eventually. Completely on-chain. That is the trend at the moment. As Wolf Game was cooling down and everyone was looking for the next one, Scrappy Coco, or Sharpie Coco as he is known now, dropped feudals in the chat, which are basically medieval punks that are there to do medieval things in a game, basic format, or
medieval punks doing medieval things. That should actually be their tagline. That's pretty good, actually.
But I think the more interesting aspect is that they went from under 0.1 to now a 1 ETH floor. There is some great interest in that game as well, and I think that one thing we're focusing on this week are all the games that came out before Wolf Game. I mean, the Feudals was right around the same time. I actually think it came out a little before, if I'm not mistaken, but it too was ignored and kind of left for dead until Wolf Game made it the hot topic du jour. So
it came out after. These minted about 3 days ago. I think Wolf Game was 5, but yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, these, great call by Scrappy Coco, and it's just another on-chain game to look at if you want exposure to that area.
Yeah. I like them. Like I said, they didn't move too much right at the beginning, and when they were being called out, they were definitely below a 0.1 floor for a little bit. So that's a pretty massive win. Those are pretty cheap pickups that you could have turned into, over 1 ETH right now. Floor sitting at just under 1.1 ETH, and that's been a really active project. So we'll be watching to see where that goes. And if anybody managed to pick some of those up, go throw them out there in the Celebrating Wins channel.
Yeah.
So want to kind of rewind now. A couple weeks ago, you had kind of mentioned fast food friends as something to keep an eye on with the Burger King tweet.
Yes. So fast food friends minted in August. These are tiny peppies that work at your favorite fast food joints, from Wendy's to Burger King to Taco Bell. It's a small collection, I think 3,000 or 5,000, if I'm not mistaken.
55, 5555.
Yeah, but we are in the period of the NFT story where mass adoption pops up here and there. We saw with Post Malone, we saw with Jimmy Fallon, and fast food friends put out a pretty innocent question. about, I forget if it was who's your best friend or something like that. And who else responded but Burger King saying it's you. You're our best friend. And that was the official Burger King account shouting out this tiny niche NFT project. And I thought to myself, well, they could see a bump or some interest or maybe even there's something actually brewing with Burger King. And this was a hint. So I kind of dropped that in the DGen dojo. I know Dirty Milk and maybe Charlie went in and grabbed one. You may have grabbed one this morning as well.
I did grab one this morning. I did see an announcement in the Zen Apes Discord, which has drummed up a lot of interest on Alphamint, that they were going to be giving away 50 whitelist spots to fast food friends holders. So that's going to be a raffle. If you hold one, you can go in on the fast food friends Discord, verify your friend, and have a shot at a whitelist. Now, that's maybe a 1% shot if every single person signs up for it. So that's not why I bought it, but I did go check out the OpenSea and looked at the activity, and I saw a wallet that kind of piqued my interest. They didn't buy too many of them. They bought 3, but the slot machine. Now, I don't know if anybody remembers us talking about our love affair with Begans, the bastard punks, but you had mentioned that there was a whale buying up a lot of Begans a couple weeks ago, and this wallet was the same one that was doing that. So I looked in this wallet, and they have a huge, quite an expansive collection. I shouldn't say huge, but with some pretty notable things in it. And I saw them buying fast food friends, and it kind of just all clicked together for me that like maybe this is something that I should just take a single purchase flyer on. I have no expectations for this, but given the fact that you could purchase for basically under 0.1, seems like a pretty asymmetric upside bet. This wallet has the bastard gans, they have cool cats, they have some bored apes in there. So this is somebody that has a bit of a portfolio. Noundles is in there.
This guy bought every rare Begon that was left at a decent price, and then started DMing me and other people and asking, are you willing to sell this? He is very aggressively trying to stack the rarest and most desirable Begons. The guy knows quality. Taking a look at his portfolio, so I said this before. Everyone needs to have a Pepe in their collection. These are one of the cheapest entries into the Pepe world that actually has a good community and some benefits. I mean, the utility for a lot of these NFTs is once you're in that community, you get connections, right? And this is an example. Zen Apes is giving 50 whitelist spots away to fast food friends. Orcs gave 50 whitelist spots away to Ben Baller chains, and these are free dividends for owning an NFT.
Yeah, and it's important to like remember that if you're trying to grab a whitelist spot on something by holding something else, like 50 might not seem like a lot. Like it is an outside chance, but it is an additive, right? It does factor into like the positive EVs and plays. Like even if there is that 1% chance, you have a 1% chance for free at getting, maybe if Zen Apes is as big as it seems like it could be, a 0.5 or 1 ETH in terms of value, right? So that's kind of an outsized risk return situation as well.
Yeah, I mean, Orcs, as an example, gave 50 whitelist spots away to Ben Baller's Chains, which is a little on-chain game that launched a few days ago, and most AM members have been able to get out with a 0.2 or more profit. Some people are actually still playing the game, but look at that. That's a free $900 just for being an Orc holder, on top of the Zug you earn, on top of the Orc asset value, and most of the high-profile projects do this, whether it's Kongs or Mice or Kaijus. Kaijus gave away 50 the Littles white spots, and the Littles is gearing up to be one of the hottest drops of this new run.
Okay, so hold that thought, because I do want to actually touch on the Littles, but I think as we do that, we'll probably start wrapping up the content portion of the show. And if anybody wants to put their hands up while we're talking about the littles, we can start to invite you up on stage and get all of that sorted out. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about the littles. That was redundant as fuck, but announcing yesterday that the price of the mint is going to be a pretty substantial 0.125.
And a 10,000 supply. All right, we're talking.
This is ballsy.
The most expensive mint since Mecca for a PFP project.
Since Mecca, and that was as hyped as fuck.
Right, and it's the highest supply of any recent project that we've seen coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so this is, and you know what? I think they're gonna get it. I think they're going to sell out that collection, and I think it's going to trade above mint. I mean, you can get angry at the team, you can criticize and say you would do things differently, but this team recognizes the position in the market they have, and they are going to pull as much of those earnings forward and ideally use them to build a great project. If you read their explanation for what they did, it's honestly a little weak. It comes off as them trying to justify it as opposed to just being outright about why they want to do it. But you know, they've partnered with Kongs, with
Can you expand on that a little bit? Like, what was their justification?
So their justifications, and I'll go over it briefly, was that they had considered quite a few different options. From doing a very low mint, even free, to maybe even a Dutch auction that starts at 0.5. They say, of course, for the consumer, the cheaper the better. Now, I will be doing a disservice to you if we were to set a regular mint price or less. The effort, team we put together for this project is not a, quote, regular, end quote, project, so we can't compare like that. I mean, that's the biggest heap of dung I've ever heard. What are you even talking about? Like, every project thinks they're special. You didn't tell us why this project is not a regular project. I mean, they're just alluding to it.
Yeah.
And it says, for one, we have, as a new project, some very reputable partners. CyberKong, SupDucks, Kaiju Kings, and 2 that are secret. It was our choice to keep these partnership announcements under the hood pre-launch, which isn't true. We've all known about these partnerships, so I don't understand what they're talking about there. So that they can focus on building a community without all the bells and whistles, that we don't overinflate our prices for more like-minded people to participate in public and secondary. So they're claiming by pulling the earnings forward, you won't get some huge pop that dissuades people from getting into the project early on. We also have plans to build our little world together. Once again, I could dazzle you with a hypothetical empty promise of little Kongs venturing in a magical garden, fighting monsters, and earning tokens that you can exchange for money. Easy peasy. But I choose not to do this because this will take a while, and who knows whether this will catch on or not. My goal is to prevent a significant 80% drop after the hype and potential families getting wrecked along the way. I mean, what, you know.
Potential families getting wrecked along the way?
What are they even talking about in this announcement? Like, why not? Can we just be honest and say we want this money so that we can pay ourselves well and build a kick-ass project? Like, that's all you gotta say.
So
be honest. Come on.
This is getting some serious shades of fish. The fish tank NFT. He announced these big partnerships, and then he started talking of these like grandiose plans and all of this stuff, and then the partners kind of went like, well, hold up, like, yeah, we like you, but it's not that much of a partnership. To put into context, I mean, the Littles is they've got some good promo videos. The art looks pretty clean. They're cute. What is special about them? Like, I'm not really sure. I would have loved to see them highlight that, especially when they're coming out announcing a 0.125 ETH mint price. They're dropping 10,000 of them. Some real quick math tells me that's 1,250 Ethereum, or like $5.5 million US for some pretty decent. Like, fucking tell me what's so special about your project. Then don't just say it. You don't just get to say it. It just sounds like a big pat on the back. So honestly, like I know there's hype around this project. I believe I'm on the whitelist. I gotta even check that.
Oh, you are? Nice.
I don't know. I think I did, but their whitelist check thing is fucked up on the website. Another like kind of stupid red flag, but whatever. But like, launch the project. This isn't Larva Labs. They're not the creators of Punks, or they didn't drop these previous like blue chip projects. They just put together this thing, and like, I at the end of the day, I don't really give a fuck if these people make $5.5 million. Like, good for them. No, like I don't begrudge that at all. But if you're gonna put out a statement like that, don't make it just like some like masturbatory sentences that make you feel good about yourself. Like, just give me a reason, or just don't say it. Just say it's 0.125. Take it or leave it.
Boom. Yeah, exactly. Like, that's it. It was a very long-winded explanation with literally no substance. I mean, they didn't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't justify their price. And while they're saying that they're not doing this, they're implying there's something really big and secret under the hood that we should all be anticipating, but none of us have what that is. So.
Yeah, I want to just kind of like go back to when we first talked about this project when the Discord opened up, and something that caught my eye about it was that it is at least part of the team, or the founder is a guy by the name of Will. He goes on Twitter as @WillXLee. Pulled it up on the screen right there, and we talked about this, I guess, a month ago. Wow, time flies. That he dropped a thread on Twitter that got a lot of play called "How to Create a Successful NFT Series." This is going to be an interesting retrospect at the end of this, especially if it flops, because it was well thought out. It was very poignant. They had some good ideas in it, and I hope that this isn't just hubris.
Yeah, this is a weird move to explain it like this. It's a project I'd still like to be on the whitelist for, and I would be fine for 0.125. But certainly some red flags in that statement.
Yeah, and again, if you're on the whitelist, if you're anticipating this project, please don't take this as us fudding it.
I want them.
Yeah. If I'm on the whitelist, like I'll be minting it. I gotta double check that now. And if I'm not, maybe if there's a public mint that I can jump in on, I might take a stab at it. I imagine if the pre-sale goes well, there's going to be a gas war for it. But it definitely makes some interesting talking points, especially around the Thanksgiving table.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to know anything you're fucking doing. Just, dude, it's like, so there's these teddy bears, and you mint them. And
nuanced niche discussion about a small corner of the NFT market is what plays at Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah, your grandma's going to be like, and you're paying how much for these things?
Come tell everybody about your JPEGs, sweetie.
Yeah, they're only $700. No, it's gonna be interesting to watch. So keep an eye out on the littles, and good luck to anybody participating. I'm pretty sure we have some whitelist members. I saw something in the Moon Lounge about somebody talking about it, but wild turn of events there. So
I do think it's gonna mint out. I think they're leveraging their hype, and I think it'll be successful. But no need for that long-winded nonsense explanation, Will, if you're listening.
Oh yeah, I guess that probably would have been written by him too, eh?
I guess. I don't know.
No idea. Yeah. So on that note, again, if anybody wants to jump up on the stage with us, we do the open mic session. For any new people, please don't feel intimidated by coming up. Cass just raised his hand. Cass jumped up here on the first day that he became a Moon Lounge member, and he's been a regular guest ever since. GM Cass.
Good morning, sir.
Oh, we're good.
wonderful morning in America. Good. Wonderful show as usual. Really cool.
Appreciate that.
Wanted to say thank you in regards of can you hear me?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
we're good.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to say thank you for the knowledge and the alpha on Ether Orcs. Because I think you guys spoke about it about 2 days ago. Was it 2 days ago? 2
Yeah,
days ago.
at least. I mean,
We're talking about orcs every day, yeah, pretty much.
It feels like ages, innit? Trust me, it feels like ages. Yeah, about 2 days ago because I aped in with a I got our DAO to ape in. So yeah, we aped in and got level 60 plus a +7 Zuck boost
Nice.
NFT. So
Nice.
yeah, we managed to get out 1.1 ETH. Everyone in my team was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Listen, chill. You know what time it is with this one, okay?" But the floor is 0.8. Don't worry about the floor, guys. The
Right.
long game, the long game. So yeah, we managed to buy that.
I want to be on your
Evo
team.
Snails as well. Oh, but listen, I was gonna, what's his name? I'll give you guys free NFTs, man. Like, and just, yeah, like be a part. But I don't want to say that because, yeah, and I don't want to shield my project yet because it's not quite there yet. But yeah, before everyone thinks, oh, what a flop. um, yeah, no, so yeah, bought Evo Snails as well. I thought that was a really cool. We managed to buy that in I think 0.15, and we got like yeah, level 29s as well.
Beauty.
So that was pretty cool. What else did we? Yeah, no, just your alpha is just great, guys. Like it really is. And free markets tweets are just so on the ball, especially with they just keep popping up on my feed. So
He is
in terms of the
beaming
amount
with
of
pride
alpha,
right now. I can't wait till he actually gets a webcam so we could just see him like just fucking fist pumping live.
Floating
no, but it's true though, man, because that's how I got to know about the Ben Baller thing.
Yep.
So we went and bought a little Ben Baller chain just to leave in our DAO in the corner because just a bit authentic. 0.1, you can't really complain to leave in your vault. And yeah, just it's been really good, guys, man. And I love talking to you guys, and I love catching joke with you guys. And
I got you.
howl, innit? I can't be bothered because my throat is really, really hurting. So I would have howled properly, but howl.
Yeah. One day we'll get you to do it. Free,
I will. Trust me. Just
Free Markets taught his son to do quite the howl.
Yeah, he howls around the house like crazy.
nah, thank you guys, man. And you know, like I will probably keep popping up and every morning because I do love this show. It's like it's like my dosage of life. I swear to God. And
That's very high praise and completely flattering, and probably you might even be overstating it, but no, we honestly appreciate that
dude.
so much.
Sounds accurate to me.
No, if I'm honest with you guys, if I'm honestly honest with you guys, it is a fact because like when I do start my day, it's nice to be able to sit with you guys. I've said it before, but sit with you guys, listen to what you guys have said, you know, and just another perspective of the industry. So no, like don't underplay what you guys do. I think it's really, really amazing.
And were you
And the
taking
whole
shots of
community.
tequila this morning while on my suggestion as well?
Oh no, that was some weed.
I'm just
Narcotics.
yeah. Shame on
So
you.
yeah, no, it was just, you know, don't worry, I'll come over to California when it's legal. It's okay. Right, guys. I will leave you lot to it. I'll probably catch you guys in the room, and thank you for having me, and just thank you for being
Yeah.
great.
You got it,
Thanks
man.
for the
I
kind
appreciate
words,
it.
guys.
All right. Hey, guys.
Don't watch it.
In business, GM, what's going on?
Good GM. Yeah, I got a little alpha for you guys, but also some fudding on the Ben Baller chain.
Ooh.
No.
Like alpha and fudding at the same time. So I have it. I found some good info that in a couple hours. I mean, they're making an announcement, but you know, this would kind of go on what I would guess is like the guy, the head of the project or the brand behind the project is, you know, he makes 7-figure jewelry. So it's not a stretch to think that he's going to try to incorporate some sort of like in real life, you know, jewelry in this project.
Right? Yeah, I think so Free Market alluded to that the other day, talking about it.
That was kind
Discord
of my
just went absolutely fucking wild. Holy.
Yeah, I went. So that's the FUD side of this. That contract was written very poorly. I've interacted with it. I think I have like 28 baller chains right now, which is way too many for me.
Yeah, you really went all in on this one, eh?
I don't know why. I was just kind of like, sometimes for me, it's like there's like a timidness where I feel like I've been under minting with the quality of the market per se right now. And so this was kind of I just started kind of going after it, and then I don't know why, but like.
Dare I ask how the fish tanks are doing?
They're not.
Okay, all right, we'll leave it.
I don't know. I mean, they have like a weird random sale every once in a while, but they're definitely not snails. But look, we saw snails rise from the dead, turned into a great project, with a great exit. So
I'm hoping to see some zombies rise from the dead soon. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, Lucas.
If only our CMY cats.
Actually,
I'm in that bag with them.
Interestingly enough, I saw a ping in the See My Cats Discord, and I went to go check it out. And in perfect timing, Free Market was in there also, checking it out and offering for the team to jump on the show one morning with us. So that might actually be something that happens, and maybe even just. Run through kind of their thought process on things and maybe see what they have in store for the future.
The devs seem interested, so I think he's going to come on in the next few days.
Yeah,
they did a lot. They did a lot over that 1 month period. They just did too much. They should have just gotten a product out with minimum viable and kept everybody excited. Instead, they launched zombies after Halloween.
Well, yeah, and as it turns out, right, and we talked about the 0% royalties that they took. They tried to launch the contract, and the gas was high, and apparently it was like over 7 ETH to deploy this contract. So they went headfirst into a very unfavorable market, which is not their fault. But could have been mitigated by kind of, accumulating some funds into the project, because there was some volume going on there, and they were trading as upwards of like 0.8, 0.9 per cat. Right. So peeling a little bit off of each transaction there is it's going to add up. So,
So if somebody, that's actually a good point. We talked about people were on a hunt for early on-chain games, right, guys? I mean, you can still get cats cheap, and cats make graves, and graves make zombies. And so if the name of the game right now seems to be be there before the rest of the people, if you really want to get the home runs,
that's why we're so interested, and I wanted to bring them on, because it just feels like snails situation. They're sitting there at 0.02. It's the exact right meta. They have the historic thing on their side. They were pre-Wolf games, so it just feels like a matter of time. But
they were pre-orcs.
You're
they
right.
were 100%. They were.
They were an anonymized copy.
Also, missed opportunity. They own the fact that they just copied it from anonymized. Why didn't they just call it copycats?
Seriously, that would have been money. And here, the biggest knock against them is that they just copied anonymized, but they embraced it from the beginning. I thought the art was pretty cool. I just think they weren't able to get the word and the story out properly. Yeah. So hopefully bringing them on the show can help.
And they are they're sorry, just to cap off that discussion. I mean, they're real people that have real lives, right? They just did that for fun. Maybe made a little bit of money on it, but they have jobs, and their lives are busy just like everybody else's. So it sucks for us as people that kind of held them and diamond handed them all the way into the ground. But that's just the reality of it and the risk you take when you play this game.
Yeah. So on the launch that's active today, still the Ben Baller's chains is now under 0.01 for the floor. It could be an asymmetrical right now. I have way too many to stack even more. But the one thing to be aware of for beginners, any kind of like staking burning mechanism game is it tends to be very expensive. And you really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to go into them with like one unit. So it's kind of like I think there's an opportunity for a potential, quick floor, like, where the floor is now, if you can pick something up at 0.08, somewhere 0.09, in a few hours, there may be a nice floor rise if they make an announcement on these in real life jewelry that's worth, $500,000, $1 million at the end of this game. And, whales want to play, and to do it, they need, 20 units or 30 units.
And we're talking about, how a project can manage their floor and their hype, and it's very important. It's not about manipulating or only focusing on price, but knowing how to manage your floor price after the drop can really help with your project's longevity.
The big problem with that project, and I'm trying to struggle with it, is, at what point do I try to get off the ship, is a staking project where, it's only costing like 0.04, 0.05 to do a burn mint, which is when gas is 100, which we've seen, the other games. That's not like an astronomical number, right? But the problem is the way that it's written. There are times, and nobody can explain it, where, they have the thing goes up to, 0.1, 0.12 in gas.
Yeah.
And I had a failed transaction. They said they were reimbursing failed transactions, but they have stopped that at this point, and they haven't actually sent the money out for the faileds. So that's one of those situations where, you go in there to mint that, or to do a burn that should cost 0.04, 0.05, and it's going to tell you an estimated gas expense of like 0.12 to 0.15 for that action. And that's like driving around with a parking brake on for a project. So, that's kind of a flag that, honestly, if I was sticking really diligently to what my trading thesis is, I would probably, full out on that project. But I think there's a little news, and I think there might be a good bump here coming forward. Like I think if the floor price was higher, I think it could just overcome that issue, but you can't overcome that issue when you're at a 0.08 floor. So
no question.
Anybody looking at that project, just be aware now is a good entry point, but I don't know but maybe for a flip, I don't know if now would be a great time to start playing that game heavily.
Did my chain sell, or is it just sitting there?
Do you have one out there?
Yours. You got me one yesterday.
Oh no, it didn't sell, unfortunately.
All
That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Free Market kind of mentioned that with these games, sometimes it's difficult because, the first person to start playing has a pretty enormous advantage, or you have to, dedicate a lot of Ethereum to kind of recouping that.
By the way, sorry, I forgot about that. I was joking around about not letting you hold it. I don't know if I put that. I minted one for him because he was in the car. Yeah.
Oh.
I couldn't get the contract to work on my mobile, as is a constant battle, as we know.
And we were hitting the bonding curve, and it's funny. He's like, all of a sudden, as soon as after he did it, he goes, he's like, yeah, sell it for me. And I was like, how aggressive do you want to be? He's like, I think I'll hold it now.
Well, okay, so correct me if I'm wrong about Ben Baller, though. They did the pre-sale, and you could stake immediately?
No, you don't stake.
You don't stake. You just get.
it.
You just get. It's one of those like where the token accrues if it's in your wallet.
Okay.
So if anybody wants the precursor on that, so all of these have boosts, and I mean, if you wanted to play the game, it does seem that right now they're at an 8 bonding curve. It's running slowly. There's about 600 or 700 left until it goes from 8 baller bars to 16 baller bars to mint another chain. And the boosts, like, so if you're in this thing, if you're thinking about looking at it, the rarities are completely irrelevant for the chains. They'll matter for the gems, but the chains are irrelevant. The only thing that matters is the boost ability and how fast it accrues. So higher boost chains accrue much faster than lower boost ones.
Gotcha.
So I have like a plus 26, and it seems as the game goes on, the boosts that are coming out of the mint are higher than the ones that were coming out originally. Like, the first few hundred, I think like the max boost was like 10, and then it went up to 15, and then it was like 20, and now I think the highest one is like a 31. So they're kind of scaling in these boosts, which is another problem, I guess, if you think about like they're coming up with announcements, but I think they're still like changing the tokenomics of these phases as like they're kind of adapting, which is not a bad thing that they're adapting in the game, but it's a level of risk if you're doing it from a financial standpoint and not from a just pure game enjoyment level of, this isn't set in stone. If somebody's like, well, I want to give away $1 million necklace, but I also want to make sure that I make enough money to do it, they can stretch it out and, potentially have the tokenomics change in that process to where, it's like, well, wait a minute, this is going to be ridiculously expensive to do this.
Yeah, lots to keep our eyes on with that. And we'll probably
well, I've accrued
Oh, you're looking.
I've accrued another 2.7 bars, so I will send you over my bars because that one you're holding is probably accruing bars, so you might as well mint them. Yeah.
Yes, you have a 10 plus or something like that. Yeah. So we have to go look at that.
Cool.
I'll send you over my baller bars, but we'll see.
So that's actually a really interesting, for one more kind of topic on this before we come off.
In business, if you don't mind, maybe we'll jump on voice chat in the Moon Lounge area afterwards and continue the conversation about this. I just brought Traveler up. I want to give him a chance to quickly talk before we wrap things up.
Make a note for the new guys for another time to talk about like what we did with orcs and pooling as a way to be competitive for smaller guys.
Actually, I'm going to write that down just because that would actually kind of make like a great like YouTube video or something too.
And it's just such a huge competitive advantage in these staking pools versus going in and buying like one or two of a chain or, one or two orcs. So, all right, guys. Have a good one.
Yeah, we'll talk soon. Traveler, what's going on?
What's up, bud?
Morning, folks.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Fairly new follower. Really enjoying the content, guys.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Quick plug to you. Thank you. It's a great part of my morning routine.
Love the profile picture. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I rolled it from the mint, and it's very apt to kind of I feel like it just represents my personality somehow.
I love it. Yeah, I identify with my kaiju too. That's my forever NFT. I love it.
So not to spread more FUD about the littles, because I'm on the whitelist. I'm going to mint out. I think it'll be very successful.
Yeah.
But to provide a bit more perspective, I was in the Discord, kind of followed that tweet thread, and I kind of disagreed with the tweet thread on a couple really key pieces of kind of what he was trying to say to project founders. And I think that's kind of what stuck with me. And I think the biggest thing to me was...
Are you talking about the successful NFT thread?
Yeah.
No. So this was a tweet thread that kind of preceded the mint price announcement and kind of launched heated discussion in the Littles Discord about what the price is, what it should be.
Was this on the Littles Twitter? Sorry.
Yes.
Okay,
so it's
I'm
on
just
Will's
looking it up
Twitter.
right now. Oh, on Will's Twitter. Okay.
Correct. And it's a fairly recent thread, 18 hours ago, and it starts with 3 critical pieces to price your NFT collection.
Oh, interesting.
And so going through this, he teased a 0.25 price, which ignited all this discussion. And, I don't want to say FUD because it was, to the community's credit, it was more productive, I think, than destructive. Because it was kind of, I was there and I tried to help shift the conversation to, what do you think would be a reasonable mint price rather than this is terrible? But in this thread, if you look through it, you'll see fairly deep in, he says now the 3 critical rules. And he says, 1, never compete on price. 2, never charge too low. And 3 is never work in an echo chamber, which I agree with 3. But I actually took issue with the first 2 because I think that depending on your model, you can compete on price, at least for initial mint, because in the long analysis of your revenue, if you're very successful, your mint price should be very small in the grand scheme of things. And if you create unnecessary FUD that potentially tanks your launch, I think you can damage your brand by pricing too high. And never charge too low, again, kind of ties in the same point. And so what this kind of ties into is I'm actually, I don't want to plug my own projects too much, but if anyone's been following the treasure.lol marketplace and the launch of Small Brains, they are competing entirely on price. They are providing drops for free, doing it via Arbitrum, where there's non-existent gas. And if you follow what happened there, which is kind of an interesting juxtaposition to OpenSea's struggles with their kind of very new and initial launch, the price of Small Brains has blasted off, and it's essentially bootstrapping their user-generated currency. So just like that tweet thread contrasting with that personal experience of kind of working through this launch process, to me is like, what are you saying?
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at this tweet thread. I did find it and pulled it up here. And the one thing that stood out to me was this one tweet right here that says, if you fail to communicate value through your project, that means you have not done your job. This has nothing to do with price, i.e. the Littles NFT has zero roadmap publicized and no promises, yet people still found value in it. Where? I guess good question. Like, I don't know. That seems just like such an odd statement for a project that hasn't even dropped yet. Am I wrong in that? Like, that seems like a very odd thing to say.
Yep.
Nobody's found value in anything yet. It hasn't fucking minted yet. The value in being in the Discord with what?
Well, and
I think,
unless I'm missing the context here. Go ahead.
Well, I think what he's trying to say is, at least it's something that I believe, that a project should certainly try to sell out on the art first, because the moment you're promising utility and a roadmap, that's where all the value is going to accrue. And then the value of your NFT is 100% dependent on you hitting those goals in a timely fashion and them being the successful launch you want. So I do agree that you should, keep as much of the roadmap internal as possible. I think that also when it comes to price, when I see an NFT project price at 0.02, certainly now I definitely look a little down on it. Not that the project is automatically a rug or something, but there is something about valuing your project a bit. I think he takes it to an extreme.
I think so too.
It definitely takes it to an extreme, but when you price your project at 0.02, it is a message to the market that you want to mint out and you're willing to take a lower price to do it.
Yeah, I mean, his kind of general statement is like, if you price cheap, you are cheap, and show your worth, I guess. But reading further through this while you were talking, he goes on later, and now I should say, go read this for yourself, because I'm reading it, but I'm only handpicking stuff that's kind of sitting weird with me, so I'm not providing full context in these. But let's talk about never work in an echo chamber. Now you have a price in mind. Don't just launch with it. Talk to your community, establish focus groups, and I know how you feel about them, FMC, and see what they think. The key is to hand select the ideal group you are serving, because their opinion is the only one that matters. He goes on to say, with the Littles NFT, we've talked to multiple advisors and were initially set on a 0.25 mint. However, after chatting with our ideal groups, we realized the investment was not matching the value, which is why we went back to adjust accordingly. Always listen. Are you shocked that anybody said that 0.25 for a mint on this project was too high? I don't know. There's something strange about this. I don't know. It's just, there's something about it that's rubbing me the wrong way, and
that's how I felt. And I do think you make some excellent points about really low mints. If there's not a strong communication of why that's low, that definitely sets off warning flags to me. And maybe that's something that founders should be thinking of, is if you are setting your price low or high, it's super important, to communicate that ahead of time, and then also explain why you're pricing as you are.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with this. Again, I'm not trying to FUD the project. Like you said, you're going to take your mints and see what happens. I would probably do the same. Just to wrap up the discussion, and I'll wrap up with the final tweet that he wrote here. It says, final thoughts, there is no perfect price. You just need to know your worth and never compete on price. If you don't trust your gut or don't have the confidence, remember, there's always a market for G-Shocks, and there's always a market for Rolexes. So, I mean, based on his price, he's saying that the Littles is a Rolex. So let's see where that goes.
Yeah, make your product, price it at what you think that it's worth, and sell it. Like, I just don't understand why there seems to be like analysis paralysis when it comes down to these things.
Yeah.
Like, people are getting way too fine in the detail about something that should be relatively simple. We are a team. We are working hard to build this thing. This is what it is worth. Buy it if you like it. Thank you.
And if you're not going to release a roadmap, just be forthright and say, look, we have some huge plans, but we need funding to do it. So if you want to trust us, this is why we're making the price this. I don't know. This there feels like, and again, I hope it's successful. I really enjoyed the thread that he put together before, as I said, the how to create a successful NFT series. But there's it almost feels like there's an implosion, kind of.
It's disingenuous. What he's saying is, we're not trying to sell you on the roadmap by alluding that there's some really, really special roadmap, which is why you should pay a lot for these things.
Which is the shades of the fish tank saying no marketing and everybody knows who we are.
Exactly. That's the issue with it. All that said, we like the project, we like the art. I hope this is just maybe a founder overthinking now that he's created this very large, popular phenomena. Who knows?
He's thinking out loud publicly.
Yeah, which, I hate that when you're like, have some confidence. This is your project. It's your world you created. You are God for, a lesser term. Like, that is what you are. Act like it a little bit.
It's kind of like some Elon level confidence, just with like, Elon just lives on Twitter and just says random shit. But
Elon's earned that.
Oh my God. Just that tweet about like, oh, Senator Sanders, you're still alive. I was like, I had to go fact check the fact that like that was a real tweet. Like that.
I know.
This is one of the richest men in the world, just like trolling a. Oh my God, it was some wild shit. So, okay. On that note, I think is there anything you want to finish off with?
I think that's it for today. Let me just look over all my projects in my Discord line and see if anyone has anything pertinent today. No, I think that's it. Let's see what we find out there. Good luck at the tables, everybody.
Yeah, good luck. Thanks for everyone tuning in today. It looks like we almost hit 50 people in the audience. So again, you're free from FMC singing Island Boys, but one day he is going to do the entirety of the song and it is going to be glorious. So again, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining Alphamint. And just a quick reminder that if you missed any of the show or any of the previous shows, it is on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. I won't harp on that too much anymore, but thank you so much, and we'll do it again tomorrow.